Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Roan. We'll tell you all about them and their great line of products later on in today's show, but do make note you can save 20% off by using promo code ChatSports over at roan.com/chatsports. A whole bunch of different trade rumors and targets and players named. It is a loaded video. We'll talk trading Brandin Cooks ideas again, some wide receiver trade targets, a running back option, some defensive pieces, and offensive line help as well. Now, we are just over 300 subs away from 185,000 subs here on the channel. The goal is 200,000 in the near future. Help us get to 185 by hitting that sub button right now. So multiple different media outlets continue to suggest, hey, you could trade away Brandin Cooks because of the cap savings, which it just blows my mind. They keep going, it's a cap savings of $4 million. That makes sense. No, it doesn't. You don't have the speed at wide receiver to justify a trade of Brandin Cooks. His numbers have begun to decline. He is not the same player he was in his prime, and that's okay. You're not paying him very much money. We saw him, I would argue, get better as the season went along. Especially after the first month. The first 2 months of the year, he had 16 catches. Vastly better in November and into December, and better in January as well. So I think you saw a better version of Cooks, and if quarterback hit a couple more throws, could have been even better. And he was much better in the back 9 games of the season as well than he was in the first 8. So I'm not trading him away and not getting good value back. Some trade ideas, I'll give them credit for suggesting them. Bleacher Report says you could go get Mitch Morse, the Bills center, because the Bills need wide receiver help, ignoring that now the Cowboys also badly need wide receiver help. Here's my issue. Why am I acquiring a center who I'm not sure is better than my current guy? Morse's sack numbers are pretty solid for a center. Those hurry numbers are way too high. The run blocking grade is not great either. And by the way, while we're having this whole conversation, you save $4 million by going out and trading Brandin Cooks. You're paying Mitch Morse double that number, 8.5. No, not interested. Mike Tannenbaum, meanwhile, of ESPN, says C.J. Mosley to the Dallas Cowboys. Jets get Brandin Cooks. Bart Scott hated that idea. This one is by far the best of the options. Now, in general, I don't like filling one need by creating another. And again, there is some contractual issues here you're going to run into, because if you trade for C.J. Mosley, you end up owing him in the range of $17 million, kind of a lot. But he'd help your linebacking core in a pretty massive way. So of the ideas we'll go through, at least I'm getting somebody good that can help my defense in a major way. But then I'm immediately going, okay, now I got to find a new receiver. And the free agency market for linebackers, I would argue, is much better and more affordable than the wide receiver market is this upcoming offseason. I'm going to cut Gallup. I'm not going to bring him back. Then I've got Tolbert, my receiver, too. Not sure we're ready for that one. So do you want to trade away Brandin Cooks? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. One of several Blogging the Boys SB Nation trade rumors we'll get to on today's show, they suggested trading for Joe Mixon. Now, I have issues with this idea. The money we'll get into here, but also this reality. A, I think Mixon's going to get cut. B, this is not a high-end impact back. He's solid. And if he gets cut, that's a very different conversation. But trading assets and paying a premium for a player who has been a 4-yard per carry back, his numbers are very similar to that of Tony Pollard's. And I don't want to pay the costs that we'll get into here more in depth in a minute, let alone, it'd be a cheap day 3 draft pick, sure. I think the running back market is going to be oversaturated in free agency. I'm not trading for a aging veteran who doesn't give me the explosive plays that I crave at that position. Today's show is made possible by Roan. Maybe you've had issues with finding what fits right, what's comfortable to wear, what makes you look good. That is not a problem with Roan. This is the solution for stylish, functional, business casual menswear, as with high quality and durable that can withstand your day. They have products for every occasion. Talk about the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, polos, and blazers now as well. They look great as individual pieces and work seamlessly together. Mobility is everything with Rhone. 4-way stretch fabric is breathable, flexible, and works everywhere from your commute to work to 18 holes of golf on the weekend, or maybe you sneak in 9, you leave work early. Certainly something I never get to do, but why would I? I love my job. You can go out to drinks as well. Wrinkle release technology also makes this 100% machine washable as well, and Gold Fusion anti-odor technology helps it smell great and gives you more washes or more wears between washes. The Commuter Collection gets you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/chatsports and use promo code chatsports. Save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you go to RHONE.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to find your corner office comfort. Back to Mixon. The money's a big thing here. $8.85 million cap hit in 2024. The cap savings for the Bengals and for the Cowboys, what the trade it would be, are the same, $6.1 million. Mixon is also due a $3 million roster bonus on March 18th. Maybe the Bengals would eat that in exchange for a draft pick, but are they going to pay $3 million for a seventh-round pick? I kind of don't think so there. So if you want Mixon, wait till he's cut. He ain't going to command $6 million in this market. So if you want to get him, patience. Wait until he's cut. And that is a more viable conversation. Let's go to the offensive line here for a little bit. Blogging the Boys also listing Garrett Bradbury as a trade target for the Cowboys. The Vikings' long-ish time starting center. Also played under Mike Zimmer, so I appreciate that connection there. This is intriguing mostly because of the potential cost involved. Now, the Vikings have no viable other option at center, which is an issue here. And Bradbury's okay. He's a very athletic player, but struggles with power. And maybe that's not the route you want to go. The numbers are okay. He's kind of been an okay, low-end starting caliber center. I'm not sure he's better than Tyler Biadasz. What does make this intriguing to me, and I think of the trade targets that mentioned today, maybe one of the more viable options for me if I were in charge, is the contract. He's due about $5 million per year over the next 2 seasons. I doubt you'll be able to get a starting caliber center for that cheap. Also, would maybe explain why the Vikings wouldn't want to trade, but that's, we're dealing in trade rumors anyway, so we'll have some fun with it. With that in mind, name a player. Keep it somewhat realistic. I'd do criminal things to get Patrick Mahomes on my team. That's not going to happen. Name a player who you want to trade for, keeping it somewhat realistic. Sound off in the comments section. Now, Bleacher Report named some of their top trade targets and went with Cam Robinson for Jacksonville, with the idea of, hey, Tyron Smith's a free agent. If you lose him, you can go trade for Cam Robinson and keep Tyler Smith in there on the left side of the offensive line at guard. Cam Robinson slots in as your new starting left tackle, and you feel better about your left side. It's locked in. You could extend Cam Robinson, which we'll get into is a problem there. Robinson got dinged for some PEDs last year, which, red flag. Missed time this season as well. Suspension, bit nicked up as well. Played, we'll say it's a half season. So double those numbers. Not bad. It's high on the sack side. That is a red flag. The run blocking also wasn't very good, and it'd be nice to fix your run blocking, right? And that wasn't the case. Now, maybe the same thing in Jacksonville. Maybe fit better in Dallas, right? The big issue here, he's due nearly $18 million this season. The idea is, just extend him. I don't know if I want to commit to Cam Robinson as my left tackle. I think there's a chance he ends up getting cut. Jags might roll with Walker Little and Anton Harrison as their long-term starters. So I'm not paying Robinson that. Again, like a lot of the guys, especially the next 2 guys we're about to get to, we can revisit that conversation if and when it arrives. But I'm not trading an asset for him when I'm light on day 3 picks as it is and paying big money. Two of the, sexier names, more so than offensive line, are at the wide receiver spot. Blogging the Boys mentioning both Hunter Renfrow and Michael Thomas, names that have been linked speculatively, really only speculatively, in the past to Dallas, the Raiders and Saints receivers. So pick one to trade for. If you want to go get one of those guys, who is it? HR for Hunter Renfrow, a smaller slot receiver. MT for Michael Thomas, a bigger but still more underneath wide receiver. Answer that for me in the comment section right now. It's actually a trick question. The correct answer is none. Neither guy is somebody I want to go out and trade for at this time. Emphasis on the trade. Reason being, their stocks are at an all-time low. The 1,000-yard receiver we saw in Hunter Henry back in 2021 has disappeared. His numbers basically cut in half the last 2 seasons combined in Las Vegas. He fell out of favor. He missed some time. He was basically not playing at various games. And the pitch from Blogging the Boys, which I appreciate, was the Raiders would eat some of the money. Would they, though? Because Hunter Renfrow is due $11.85 million this year. A post-June 1st cut would save the Raiders all of that on their salary cap this year, eat some more next year, but you're saving money there. That's basically what is the new money due. So to make it viable for Dallas, the Raiders have to eat like $8 or $9 million of it. What draft pick are you comfortable giving up to pay that? What is the draft pick the Raiders would take? We're talking about a fairly premium pick for that amount of money. And you're starting to approach a couple percentage points of your salary cap. It doesn't make sense for either side. I think Renfrow gets cut. And if you want to sign him then, have that conversation. Meanwhile, Michael Thomas. We are so upset over the way Michael Gallup has played when he got paid less than what Michael Thomas made. We're talking about a guy who has basically had a season and a couple games worth of snaps in 4 years combined. It's about 20 games played because it's 4 seasons, not 4 years. He didn't play in 2021. 4 years worth of snaps, and he can't surpass 500 yards in one season. Slant boy, which wasn't an insult because he just ran slants and they couldn't stop him. He's washed. He can't play and stay healthy anymore. And he's out there complaining about his quarterback who he advocated for in New Orleans. That's a bad sign. By the way, the Saints, because their cap situation is unique and weird, and they messed up by not rebuilding after Drew Brees retired, the Saints lose cap space with a trade. Now, maybe they post June 1st him. But a trade right now, not happening. Plus, I don't need another aging wide receiver who can't separate. I have no interest at all in Michael Thomas.